Check. Oh no. Dang it. What's up? What's up? What's up? Coach Bruce in the studio. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the way I play the blame game. Um, it's something that we all do. We all get in these situations where there's a lot of responsibility to be taken, and sometimes it passes like hot potato from hand to hand, and nobody wants to hold it. I was thinking about this because I was on a coaching call with one of my clients this morning, and she confided in me that this is an older woman. She's lived some life, but she hadn't talked to her daughter in a couple of years, and that crushed me. That was really surprising to me because I would think that anybody who is trying to work on themselves would want to try to make it right with any child that they have, and rebuild that relationship. To me, it is your responsibility as the parent to do everything you can to foster a healthy relationship with your children. They didn't have a choice to be brought into this world. You made that choice for them. So the best you can do, like I'm sorry, the least you can do is try to make sure your relationship with them is at at very worst maintained to the best of your ability. Um, that's something that I'm sure I will be tried on later in life. I'm sure that my parents thought that they were going to do the best job to keep their relationship fostered with me, and I don't talk to either one of my parents, but I am very open and honest with the fact that both my parents have been pretty toxic and often narcissistic, and I choose not to act that way to my kids. I don't know that it's a choice for them, but for my kids, they are my world. And whenever they get older, they will continue to be a large part of my world. And I will do everything in my reasonable ability to make sure that they remain in my life and I remain in theirs. So the way I play the blame game, and I was talking to my client about this, was she we started talking about the situation and what it looked like for her, and she was kind of telling me some of the backstory and explaining some of the reasoning to me as to how this falling out happened. And like I accept that things happen. There's lots of reasons that we get to a certain point in relationships, but at some point you have to decide what's important to you. Do you want to re-engage this relationship, or do you want to spend the rest of your life not talking to the the fruit of your loins? Like that to me, it was so depressing. And whenever I asked her that question, she started crying because obviously she did not want that. And she was dealing with some kind of daily depression. And I talked to her and I tried to explain to her that a lot of that depression she's feeling is going to feel relieved whenever she handles this thing. And I was like, because you have to always feel that. She agreed. It's always there. As much as she tries to push it out of her mind, she tries to, you know, carry on about her life and compartmentalize. And you might be the best compartmentalizer ever. But if you are not a narcissist and you have created a human being and they are out there operating without any connection to you, that is going to affect you in some kind of way. And with her, as much as she hadn't been addressing it, it had been affecting her hugely. So I encouraged her to play the blame game in this way. It's all my fault. Everything that you think that went wrong in this relationship, I agree. I was not there for you the way that I should have been. I probably don't even know all the ways I let you down. I would really like to try to re-engage in this relationship. And the reason this is so important, in my opinion, is because if you are trying to rebuild a relationship that's important to you, it's like the score doesn't count anymore. It doesn't matter who was winning and who was losing. It doesn't matter. Do you want the relationship back or not? You need to reset the scoreboard and start playing to win a better relationship versus who did what and who hurt who and who's winning and who owes who what. Like none of that matters. If you want the relationship back, you need to reset, say that I would like to understand how this relationship wrong or went wrong in your opinion. Can you tell me what I haven't let you tell me in the past? And she admitted to, apologizing to her daughter and then saying a lot of but. And when her daughter tried to express her frustrations to her, she wasn't able to hear it yet. She's to a point now where she's able to hear it, or she thinks she's able to hear it. She wants to re-engage this relationship, so she's willing to give it a try and say, like, please tell me what I don't know. Tell me how I disappointed you. And I think that's a big part of being able to move forward in these kinds of relationships that have gotten so toxic that you can't talk to each other at all, is that sometimes you need to let the other person punch themselves out. You need to let them emotionally wail on you and get it all out and say, you were a crap parent. You weren't there for me. You missed my prom. You know, you weren't, I had to take care of you. I cleaned up after you. But whatever happened, they need to get it all out and feel like they've been heard and validated, possibly for the first time in their lives. So then they can see you as a person who is standing in front of them trying to make it right, and understand this exact thing is that you're a person. And when you become this villain in somebody's story, you stop being a person. You just are you're just this bundle of your actions that you've done to irritate somebody. And once you get all those things out and they've all been heard, addressed, validated, then all of a sudden the humanity comes back into that person. You're able to start forgiving them. Maybe not immediately, but eventually that road is paved to get there. But that involves you being willing to, kind of prostrate yourself in front of them and say, I'm willing to take this butt whooping if you will allow me to have this conversation with you, if you will allow me to hear your pain, because I feel like you deserve to tell it to me of all people, and I'm sorry that it's taken this long. I don't know if maybe that's not going to make sense to people. Some people are going to say like, well, just you're a human. You shouldn't have to take fault for messing up and making mistakes. I don't I don't disagree per se, but in this situation, it's about deciding what you want and going to get it. If you want to reconnect in a relationship that way, this is how you get there. This is how I mean, you could go to group therapy for 5 years and work through all your problems together and eventually get to the point where you say, we remember these things differently and it's okay. Neither one of us is wrong. Uh, I would rather just say, you know what? It's taken me a while to see it, but I was an asshole. I messed up a lot, and you're probably right. Everything that you're saying, I've worked on myself enough now to know that there was probably a lot of jacked up stuff I was doing, in your opinion, that I didn't even see. It wasn't even on my radar. So I'm just going to be willing to just say, you're right. I take blame for all of it. I want to be accountable and I want to rebuild this relationship. And I'm willing to do the work to allow you to start trusting me again. I mean, you're trying to you're playing the game to win long term. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel like crap to get emotionally wailed on. You're going to cry. It's going to be sad, but you're going to be engaging with that person that you miss versus guess what? It hurts and feels sad and is painful to be apart from somebody who's that important to you. So let's do some purposeful pain. Let's work our way through this painful thing that is going to get us some growth versus just being in pain every day and having no growth towards reuniting. That's it for today. That's all I wanted to talk about. I hope that you are having a great weekend. Please